Oh, hey everybody. Thanks for tuning in back to my channel. Fish Den 365, I'm Den Haring, and this is Topwater Tuesday. You just caught me getting the lure ready that we're going to discuss for this Topwater Tuesday, and it's the Cordell Blue Striper. So where do I begin with this bait? This bait is, people love it, people hate it. It's one of the more controversial baits that I've ever fished with. It's just, I'm not quite sure where to begin, but it's a very interesting bait. I tend to be one of the ones that really likes this bait because it's caught me a lot of nice fish. So where do we begin? I guess the first thing is this is a bait that's made by Cordell. It's no longer in production. You still can get some of these on eBay. I was lucky enough to buy a whole bunch of them on a last time run that they did probably back in the 90s. I'm not sure anymore. It was years ago. They did a last time run of like 1,000 of these lures, and I bought a bunch of them because I heard that they were pretty good. These baits are legendary on Raystown Lake, on Lake Raystown in Pennsylvania. There's other places, other lakes where you mention this bait and people hate it and say it won't catch a fish. It's just one of those baits that has it's a very polarized bait, I guess is the way I would talk about it. The folks at Raystown, they fish it a couple of different ways. This is Topwater Tuesday, so I'm going to talk about how I fish this bait as a topwater. But before I do that, you should know that a lot of people don't fish this as a topwater. Instead, they actually weight the bait. There's a way that you can add weight to this bait, and it allows it to sink faster, and they retrieve it under the water. Now this bait has a very unique action. It is, I would say it may be the original glide bait. This is the action. It's got that S, like an S waver. It's got that S action to it, and so it's if it's not the first glide bait, it's one of the first ones. So it makes it a very interesting bait under the water, and a lot of fish get attracted to this. It's a very good bait for stripers and for smallmouth, particularly for those two fish, but the other fish will eat it as well. So I fish this both ways. I have this one here is a custom painted one that I got at Susquehanna Fishing Tackle many years ago through a friend. And it's custom painted and it's also weighted. Somebody actually drilled a hole in there and added some weight. And there's a whole way of doing that. If you have an interest in how to weight these baits, comment and I can get you the instructions for how to do it. But this being Topwater Tuesday, we're going to talk about how to fish this thing as a topwater because it's an excellent topwater bait as well. Some people wouldn't agree with me on that fact, but it is a fact because I've caught a lot of nice fish on this thing on top. Now, there's one thing you should do when you fish this on top. One of the unusual things about this bait is there's no line tie on the back like you'd see on a lipless crankbait, and there's no lip on it. The line tie is right underneath the nose. It's like at the mouth of the bait. So when you fish this, you're going to want to put a split ring on the line tie. I use a split ring and a small snap. You could also use a larger snap if you don't want to use a split ring at all. But I found that using a split ring and a small snap is the best way to get the best action out of that bait. Because remember, this thing is doing this. But you can make it do that on the surface. One of the nicer things about this bait is it's heavy without even weighting it. It's got a lot of weight to it. And you can throw it a country mile. So you can throw this bait a long way. And when it sinks, it tends to wobble like this as it's sinking. But it comes up to the surface almost immediately because of where that line tie is. And so what I'll do with this bait is I'll throw it out there. I'll usually try and throw it low to the water because I don't want to make a big splash. I get a pretty good distance with the cast. As soon as it hits the water, I begin the retrieve because I want to keep it on the surface when I'm fishing it as a topwater. And so I'll throw it out there and do just that. And it doesn't take a fast retrieve. You can just fish this on a slow, steady retrieve. It'll come right up to the surface, and it'll make this S type of action, this gliding type of action. And it drives fish crazy at times. Smallmouths like it, like I said, and stripers like it quite a bit too. I've caught purebreds on it. I think the purebreds like it a little more than the hybrids do, but they both will eat this bait. It's been a good bait for me at Lake Wallenpaupack and some of the other local lakes here. I know it's a very revered bait at Lake Raystown, as I had mentioned. There's a lot of guys out there that throw this bait for the stripers and for the smallmouths as well. So there's a couple of different colors here. You can get them custom painted, like this one. This is a custom paint job. I like that. It looks like a shad. Here's one that's like a bone color. It's all white. That's a good lure, a good color, especially for topwater. If you want to shine on like a sunny day or bright conditions, maybe even a moon, you got that chrome color. But this is one of my best and favorite all-around colors. I don't know what it's called, but it just has a good bait fish profile. Dark back, a little bit of blue on the sides, light belly, some red. I really like this color. And it tends to catch a lot of fish for me. This is probably the one I throw the most. Can't really include this one because this one being weighted, I don't use it as a topwater, I use it underneath. So that's the blue striper. You know, if you have this lure and you have experience with it, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. So please comment. Like I said, people have strong feelings about this bait. They either really like it or they don't like it at all. But my experience is that I like it quite a bit because it's caught me a number of good fish over the years in more than one lake. I've got them in several of the different lakes that I fish here, Beltsville, Wallenpaupack. It's a good bait. And so I would say if you have this, give it a try. If you can find a way to get this bait and you like topwater fishing, this is probably one that you want to have because it has a very unique action. The fish have not seen many of these. It's a bait that's not in production. Even when it was, not a lot of people fished it. I think it actually might have been more popular as a saltwater bait. There's a larger version too that's about an inch longer than this. Very hard to find those. But I find that this has the better action, the smaller version. So that's the Cordell Blue Striper. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Let your friends know that I'm out there putting these Topwater Tuesday videos out and a number of other fun and educational fishing videos. We're all about the art and science of fishing. And I hope to see you on the water soon, and may God bless your fishing endeavors.